Do you ever feel like you have too many notebooks? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my complete journaling system, how I use several notebooks in a system that feeds off of one another in order to help me stay organized, in order that I can be found faithful in everyday life. So this video is actually being made in order to answer one of your questions. Living Centered Wellness 6412 asked the question, said, I'm really enjoying your videos. I have a few questions. I love journaling, but sometimes I get overwhelmed when I have so many journals going on. Do I bring them all with me throughout the day? Do you keep the morning prayers journal at home or in one spot and then have your pocket journals throughout the day? Do you ever feel like you're repeating yourself from the memories pocket journal and the prayers journal? What are church notes? Do those go in the prayer journal or pocket journal? So thank you so much for that question, and I hope to answer those in this video. So let's jump right into it. So first, I'd love to just briefly share what all my notebooks are and what I use each of them for. First, we're going to begin with my pocket notebook. So this is my catch-all pocket notebook. Some of you guys have already seen the video on this, but if you'd like to know more about it, you can check out the video that's right here, or you can check out the link in the description. So this pocket notebook is literally what goes with me everywhere I go. I take this in my front pocket with a pen like this one here, and it sits in my front pocket, and I take it everywhere. Why? Because this helps me capture everything from tasks, to-dos, ideas, thoughts, quotes, maybe Bible verses that I'm memorizing. I use it to help me share the gospel with people. So this is my catch-all, everyday, goes with me notebook. My second one that goes with me everywhere is this Lockbee pocket journal that I got from my wife for my birthday, and in it is my Moleskine pocket journal, and this is a memory journal. It's like a diary. So the purpose of this one is really just to capture moments in my day, or at the end of the day, where I'm just recollecting and collecting memories. So it's the boring, it's the beautiful, it's the everyday mundane things of life, but it's things that I want to remember. So I capture them here every single day. The next one is my Moleskine Morning Prayers Journal. Again, if you want to see a video on this, you can check it out right here, as well as the description. You can also see a video that I made using my morning prayers and how I actually do morning prayers, and how it was taken from Julia Cameron's Artist's Way morning pages. So what this is my quiet time journal, and so I share a lot about how I set this up, but also how I use it to, share lessons with my boys. I have my quiet time and all these things. Ooh, I probably shouldn't show you all that. This is a new journal, and so I am currently working through it, but at the back I have the memory verses that I'm starting to memorize. So I'm starting in Psalm 51. I also have the tracker. We just completed a full week of quiet time, and so this is where I wrestle with the Lord, with my thoughts and in prayer. So right here I have my Moleskine weekly planner, and this is used for tracking my long-term goals as well as my habits. So I use this to plan out my day. I use it to keep track of my goals long term, what books I'm reading. At the back I also keep what are the things that I'm doing every single day that's helping me progress towards my goals, and so I keep that here in this journal. So this right here is my bullet journal notebook, and I got this from one of our community members, Donna. So big shout out to her for gifting this to me. But really what I've started to use this for is I needed a place where I can host all of my YouTube video ideas. So I start by capturing the ideas here, but when I run out of space, it's kind of hard to find it. So I transfer all of my YouTube ideas and I put them into this book. And so YouTube video ideas, helping people be found faithful in everyday things. And here's an index of some of the video ideas that I've collected so far. And so even like for this one specifically, here is a video idea that I had, my complete journaling system, to show how I use several notebooks in a system that feeds off each other and helps me stay organized so I can be found faithful in everyday life. What am I sharing about? My pocket journal, my pocket notebook, my Moleskine notebook, my Moleskine planner, my bullet journal notebook, and a separate notebook for common placing. So literally, you are seeing the use of this notebook in the video today. And then lastly, I have here, it's actually completely empty, but this is something that I'm thinking about using either for a commonplace book where I'm going to capture quotes and just thoughts from books that I'm reading, or people, like just wisdom and things like that. Or I might use this for maybe like Bible study and sermon notes, who knows? But again, that's all of the notebooks that I am currently using at this moment. So let me go and switch it back to the front-facing view as I answer some of the questions. All right, so let's jump into it and answer some of the questions. The first question was, do I bring all of them with me throughout the day? Do I keep the morning prayer journal at home or in a specific spot and then have my pocket journals with me throughout the day? And the simple answer is no. I don't take all of them with me throughout the day. Like, it really just depends on my day. And so maybe a helpful way to categorize it is always, sometimes, and pretty much never. So notebooks that I take with me pretty much always are these two right here. I have my pocket notebook, which is again my catch-all notebook for everything. And then this is my pocket journal, which is capturing memories. And so these two I pretty much take with me everywhere I go. I have a backpack that I take with me to work. This goes in there. This always goes in my front pocket. If it's the weekend and I'm not going to work, I typically carry around with me a sling bag. And so this goes into my sling bag, this goes into my pocket. And so the reason why is because there's ideas and there's things like tasks and to-dos and things that I need to remember. And this is my catch-all place where I'm going to write everything down. But this one is, man, maybe there's just something interesting that happened that I want to remember. I'll write it here. Or at the end of the day, I will capture all of those memories here. So these pretty much go with me all the time. Now, the next category is sometimes. And for me, the sometimes would be these two right here. So this one you can't really see, it's just a black one, but this is my morning prayers journal and this one is my planner. Now, the reason I say I sometimes take these is because, so for example, because my line of work is to pastor, to shepherd people, I spend a lot of time praying. So weekdays when I'm going to and from the church office, this actually stays with me because sometimes I'll go into our prayer closet for 30 minutes at a time, an hour at a time. Maybe we'll have our staff prayer and I want to journal. I'll take this with me. But it also does have a place here on my desk where I keep it most days, especially over the weekend when I'm not going to and from places, I'm just having quiet time in the morning. This will typically stay on my desk. Now, my planner, sometimes it'll go with me, but the reality is once I plan out my day in the morning, I usually shift over all of my tasks and to-dos into this, or even verses that I'm memorizing, I'm putting it into this, and this is what I'm carrying around so that I don't have to carry this around. This is more like tracking at the beginning of the day, so I'm focused throughout my day, and then I'm recording all of it at the end of the day just as a refresher, just to maintain, making sure that I'm heading towards my goal. So this sometimes goes with me, sometimes it doesn't. And then the ones that pretty much never go with me anywhere, well, I can't even say anything about this yet because this is completely blank. I haven't done anything with it. But if it's a commonplace book, my idea would be that I get the idea originally in this catch-all notebook, and then when it's more fleshed out, or the quote is, I want this to look pretty, then I'll write it in my commonplace notebook. Or if it's a sermon notebook, then I'll probably just take it with me on Sundays or Wednesday nights. But this one, I just made this one for my YouTube ideas because, again, I catch all of my ideas, like the rough draft, in this. I don't put it in here unless it's fully fleshed out, or I just have a general idea and want to map it out in this one. So this is more established ideas that I'm pretty much going to make a video on, is going to be in this notebook. This is the catch-all. So this doesn't need to go with me everywhere. I can just leave it on my desk. When I need to thumb through some ideas that I want to make a video on, I can look at it then, but it doesn't need to go with me everywhere. So hopefully that's sufficient to answer that first question. Do I bring them with me throughout the day? The second question was this: do you ever feel like you're repeating yourself from your memories, pocket journal, and the prayer journal? So what they're referring to is this notebook right here, which is my memories journal, right? The boring and the beautiful. And then I have this one, which is my morning prayers journal. And the question is, do I feel like I'm repeating myself? And the simple answer is yes. Like, I do repeat myself, but the way in which I write them out are different. So this is a memory notebook. And really what I'm writing in this notebook is very matter of fact. So this happened and this happened. Like, it's just stating, like, I'll give you a good example. June 5th, 2026, I wrote this at 10:30 p.m. Full day today. Jiu-jitsu early in the morning with the boys. Took them to Chick-fil-A after. When we got home, we decided to do a day at the Rack, which is our recreation center. We invited Theo to come. We played basketball and swam at the pool. So it's very matter of fact. I'm just recording memories for me to remember on later on. Whereas in this notebook, this is more of, what were my thoughts about what was happening? What was I feeling? What are things that I need to wrestle with and bring before God? So if I open up to that same day, June 5th, well, actually it wouldn't be helpful because I wrote that in the morning, but June 6th, I'm more thanking God and I'm talking about what had happened actually the day prior, but I'm actually thanking God and wrestling with what has my jiu-jitsu journey been like? How have I been discipling my boys? What are the things that I'm teaching them as I'm taking them to Chick-fil-A? Like, these are the things that I'm wrestling with God in prayer about. And so that's why I think these two, even though I repeat myself, right? The way in which I'm answering or writing about them are totally different. This is matter of fact. This is more reflection. So hopefully that answers your question of, do I feel like I'm ever repeating myself? And then the last question or questions that was asked was, what are church notes, and do those go in the prayer journal or do those go in the pocket journal? These are, for me, what I would consider like sermon notes or Bible study notes. And so if you asked the question, do they go in the prayer journal? And here's my prayer journal. And the answer is potentially. Like, if I was sitting down and wrestling with the sermon, which I often do, I wrestle with what was being presented, like, oh man, this sermon was on surrender, and I need to really wrestle with am I surrendering my life? Am I living in complete surrender to Jesus as the Lord of my life? Then yeah, that's how I'm going to write it out in my morning prayers journal. But then if you're asking about my pocket journal, right, where I'm collecting memories, if you say, hey, do I write that in the pocket journal? Well, the way I might write it is I might say, well, I went to church today. Pastor Jason preached a sermon on surrender. We're going through the book of Mark, and we've been going verse by verse, chapter by chapter. And that's my entry. It's just a reminder of what was, but it's not really the wrestling. So because of that, my current solution, I used to do it in this prayer journal, but I didn't like the breakup in flow where one was really reflective and then one was just collecting notes. So then I started writing them in my pocket journal. or not pocket journal, my pocket notebook that I carry around with me. So right here is literally Sunday service from May 31st, 26th. It was Pastor Jason who was preaching. He was preaching on Mark 3, 7-12. As faith increases, passivity decreases. Another one that he said is as obedience increases, Satan's powers decreases. And so like I'm literally writing all of the sermon notes here. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this. Even though I'm sharing with you my complete journaling system, the reality is it's ever changing. It has to be, because I change and my needs change. And so I'm not married to a system. I'm making sure the system is working to meet my goals and help me be found faithful in everyday life. And so one of the thoughts that I had was potentially, if I don't use this as a commonplace notebook, maybe I'll use this as a sermon notes notebook or a Bible study notebook. So church notes. I hope that suffices. I know I shared with you my complete notebook system. I answered some of those questions. So now I have a question for you, and I want you to write the answer down in the comments below. How many notebooks are too many notebooks? Or can you really have enough notebooks? Again, let me know down in the comments down below. And look, if you want your questions answered in videos just like this, be sure to engage with us down in the comments, because this is where I get much of my content ideas. I want to be helpful to you. I want to actually bless you and answer the questions that you're asking. So be sure to engage and answer or ask the questions down below. Now, before I end this video, I just want to give a big thank you to you, for the viewers, for the subscribers. In the past month, we've grown over 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for watching the content and engaging with it. And if you're not yet subscribed, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and join us. But listen, this video was a response to a question that was asked in my How I Set Up My Journal for Morning pages. You can check that out here, or you can let YouTube recommend you a video from my channel. You can check that out here, or push the button right here to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.